Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Galaxy. Last time we had one of the most interesting episodes in the series so far. Pretty much everything hit the fan. Jaster is... well, he's something alright. Not exactly sure what the hell is going to happen with that, but yeah, we managed to take out Seed after all the time that he dogged us. We got to show how great it is to show power scaling in a video game without actually directly showing that power scaling by judging and basically using the step up feature by having Jaster face off against Zegram and Zegram face off against Seed and then Seed face off against Jaster, basically on steroids. Anyway, one more point that I'd like to make clear, because I forgot to mention it last time. It was in my notes. I just forgot. Seed is voiced by Jason Spizek, the voice of Wilhelm in Xenosaga. So yeah, just a nice, cool little feature you get there. All right, now that we have talked to every one of those 7-star sword guys, we actually, yeah, we're the Star King's successor, apparently. Not exactly sure what that means, other than it's a thing. But, yeah. These guys went out of their way to find Desert Claw, and they got the descendant of the Star King, which apparently is a good thing. Sure, it works for us. But yeah, if you've talked to all three of those guys in all three of the ruins, and then come talk to this guy. Don't ask me why we're talking to this guy. Say that the captain and some guy... Ooh, whoa, my voice died there. Some guy named Kristen Ark made the Dorgan Ark 10 or so years ago. What happened is written on the monument in the passage going to the captain's room. You're giving me information. Yes, after talking to all three of those Silver Star sword guys, they give you one final bit of information. Surrounded by good people. If I remember correctly... Did I forget to mute my phone? I forgot to mute my phone. But you guys may or may not have heard that. That was a coin. But anyway, whereabouts is it? There it is. If you look carefully, there's something on the back of the monument. 7-star sword Cosmolord and Soul Kristen Ark rest here. So it's a, I guess it's a gravestone? Or a monument? But it contains one of the 7 wrong game. The 7-star swords. Silver Star Sword or Silver Star is a completely different game. Though the announcement of the remaster does have me interested. Anyway, let's take that and let's do anything except what we're supposed to do. So we are supposed to go to Rosa and do a bunch of things there. We're not going to do that today because Chapter 9, this is the first time we've really had access to, well, anything in Chapter 9. So we're going to go talk to anyone and everyone and get a bunch of stuff. Let's look at our completion percentages. Let's see where we are. So we got Frog Log completed. Factory is pretty close. Hunter's Rank's pretty close. We still haven't touched on those rare items. I'm actually going to break my rule of what I was going to do, and I'm going to pick up one early. And then we'll just go over that in that future episode where I get all of them. Basically, it's purchasable, so we can show off where it is regardless of whether I pick it up now. Quarries, we're about half done. Hunting record, we're not going to finish that. We're about 33% through. I think we'll end probably about maybe 40 to 50%, somewhere in there. In Sectron, we got halfway. The flow, we're at 64%, not too bad. Anyway, figured I'd give us a little catch up there. As long as Mia's not talking with that accent, she's not quite that bad. I'll give her that. She talked to the professor earlier. It wasn't terrible. Anyway, if you come talk to Faye here, we have, I believe it's 4 new... There's the 4th one. 4 new quarries that we can purchase. And in fact, we can actually do all of those before we leave this area. Or well, before we continue on to Rosa and heading into wherever the hell we unlocked. But that's not the only thing we can do here on Zerard. If you come into the weapon shop on the west side, we can pick up the Longardian armor, which is a new armor for Digo there. Of course, we need the platinum license, so if you don't have that, you won't be able to get this yet, but it's not all that important. Chapter 9 unlocks a bunch more of these types of items, so if you plan on using them, now would be the time to start stocking up. They are expensive, but we have so much money, and there really is almost nothing we need money for at this point, other than picking up, you know, a handful of weapons. Like, there's less weapons to purchase now throughout, like, the rest of the game than there was in, I'd say, the first half of the game. I don't know why they front-loaded all the weapons you needed to buy so early in the game and then just gave you nothing to buy later on, but that's just kind of how it works. Also on the west side, if we go to the item shop, I already did this in between episodes, but you can buy perfect revivers now that we've created them in the factory. So purchase as many of those as you can if you want them. Perfect heals are here, again, if you need them. Do note, some of these shields are available here, and I finally found some actual information on these guys. I don't know why it took me so long, but in terms of the way that shields work, the base elemental shield, the bronze one, that one provides elemental protection plus 25. It doesn't explain what that is out of. I would guess it would be 25%, but that's just a guess. The silver ones give 45 points, and the gold ones do 60. I don't know if 60 is max and you nullify the damage at that point, or if it goes all the way to 100. Not sure. But these status protecting shields here, they only provide +8 to each elemental resistance. They also provide +50 to whatever status they're protecting against. Again, I don't know if it goes up to 60, if it goes up to 100. That information I have not been able to find, but do note that these shields will be available once you've created them in the factory, around different places, many of them on Zerard. And in Picacchio's lab here, if you talk to Joshua here and we see what he's got for sale, he should have something else for us. Let's see, more junk that we could buy if we really needed it. But more importantly, he has the energy armor. You don't need platinum license for this one, but it is a new outfit for Steve. And here on Main Street, we can talk to this guy, and this is another one of the things I already did off screen, but you can buy some more strength stars, some brave symbols after creating them, I believe, in the factory? Maybe not, I can't remember. Attack seal and guard seal, those were created in the factory, and you can purchase them. I think there was only 2 of each. So you can buy those as well. The attack seal, what it does, as you can see down below, use in battle to reduce the enemy's attack and reduce the enemy's defense. So you can make use of these if you want to. I just bought a couple, so I have more for demonstration purposes. There's not really any other reason for that. If you have not already purchased the vintage wear, it is still here. And back at the Insectron shop, here you can pick up, let's see here, as you can see, electric eels and smoked rainbow newt are now infinite. Pretty much everything here that you could possibly need at this point is either infinite, and there are Stella crystals if you want to purchase up to 5 of these, if you still need more for the flow, and Edenesia if you have not purchased these or found these as a drop. Now you have access to as many as you could possibly need for the factory. The only other thing that these do, considering they are sold in the Insectron station, is they can be used for feeding the bugs. These ones give you a decent sized boost, but it's not something like I might offhand feed them one of these, but I wouldn't rely on it because they're not infinite until much later, and I plan on finishing this before later. Speaking of which, in my notes, I had actually done a lot more of this, the Insectron battles up to this point. So if you wanted to now, you could probably go and do rank B. I've done a lot of Insectron over the last little while, and I don't want to jam it down your throats any more than I already have. So I am not going to do that. I'm going to feed the bugs, and then, because now we make our way to Vidan, and we're going to head to the item shop here. Now, there's a couple of reasons why we're going to come here. First of all, you have tri-elixirs if you feel the need to buy them here. You're more than welcome to do so. You have access to, I think, one of every single status protecting shield in the game here. So if you want those are here. And we also have the hand knit sweater, which is a new armor for Simon. We'll equip that in a moment. Down here, we get the Annals of Hades. Now, this is actually part of the rare item side quest, but I don't believe it disappears after we purchase it. So there's no real downside to buying it. Plus, I can always just come back here and demonstrate that this is where it is. I'm going to pick this one up now because it allows us to get something else. And that's something I do want to grab while we're here. The other thing is I talked about this before when I did all the blueprints, but if you talk to this person over here, talking about a Deus shield. The Deus shield is the ultimate holy shield, but now that we're in chapter 9, she now has the capacity to give us the blueprint for that, so we can grab that. Okay, I almost forgot. After we got the Annals of Hades there, you want to come and talk to this guy. Annals of Hades book you have. Skim through it a bit. To sum it up, the treasure is sleeping beyond the Silvazard Desert. Something about the password, it's not Shiza, it's Caesar. No idea what that means. Well, that couldn't possibly be important information, now could it? And make our way to Jerica, namely the ancient ruins. And if you talk to this guy here, he's searching for quarries. To be this close and forget your Zipangu axe. If by some means you have forgotten your Zimpaku, the words are hard. If you forgot your axe, it is in the village. Just go talk to one of the shops there. I think there's only one in the village. And then you will get to purchase the item that you are looking for. That being said, to lure out the wicked fairy lurking in the ancient castle, hold to the sky the legendary axe passed down through the Armstrong line for... No, sorry, wrong game.
Witness the alchemy gods passed down the Armstrong line for generations!
The Zipangu axe. Yeah. All right, let's grab it here. Hold it to the sky, and, well, he doesn't look like any fairy I'm used to seeing, but what do I know? This guy is not very challenging. He's just kind of here. Well, there goes that. Protection. Can you use abilities? No, you can't. Okay, well, instead of using his skill to do the same thing, I'm going to use a strength star instead. And then, nope. And then you are going to use flash sword. I'm not going to show this fight off twice. There really isn't a lot of point. Basically, as long as you are not stupid like me and you guard when necessary, then all you have to do is swing at this guy a few times and he falls down. Well, it's really annoying when the camera decides to screw you over here, but other than that, there really isn't a whole lot to this fight. You can tell when he's about to attack and then just block it. Go for the flash sword again. And we'll use the proper ability this time. Make sure you block, and then just attack him. I am using, I think, an Alexander sword, which isn't a particularly powerful weapon. But yeah, as you can see, sometimes he attacks a lot. He has a secondary attack here, as you can see. It's kind of a throw up and then throw down. He can hit on both, but he has to be in the proper range in order to do so. So let's revive you. See what I mean by him kind of hitting twice? I just practiced this guy before starting the recording, and he didn't manage to actually kill any of my characters. Shooting from a range can also deal decent damage if you're getting annoyed at him for interrupting you. But yeah, for doing that, we get the Unicorn Hatchet. And once you're done over there, make your way over to the crashed ship. What do you say? Do you say anything interesting? Thinking of dismantling the ship and selling it. That's what happens when you're dismantling something you don't know anything about. I would think that this guy would actually give you some useful information, because he says he got a new spear, but he hasn't had a chance to use it, which tells me like there might be a new spear in the store, but I really don't know. Come over here, and somewhere a beast is emitting great heat. To quell its fierce flames, sprinkle some extinguishing powder throughout the area. So extinguishing powder would be the CO2 powder. So a simple item that you're going to have at all times, and we get a turtle that's on fire. Not the strangest thing I've seen in a video game. Not the strangest thing I've seen in this video game, now I think about it. Step 1, change equipment. Our new sword, Cosmolore. If you do not have this one, it really doesn't matter. You could bring in Kisala and use ice blades, or you can bring in Digo with Top Dog, because those are both ice-based attacks, and this guy is weak to ice, as you might expect. Not only is he a turtle, but he is on fire, so ice wins, I guess? I don't know. It was always weird that ice did so well against turtles in the first place. But that's a Final Fantasy thing. Who knows? As you can see, he has a shield, so Flash Sword. And over here, we want to activate buff number 1 and buff number 2. Do you need these? No. The reason why you don't need these is because, as you can see there, he is susceptible to either paralysis or shock, whatever this the Flash Sword has on it, but he's also susceptible to frozen, which the Cosmolore has on it. So yeah, you can block his attacks, but you can also keep him pretty weak throughout most of this fight. I'm going to speed things along with the Strength Star, mainly because Cosmolore is really weak at this point, because I just got it and it's a very low level weapon. The hardest part about this fight, honestly, is the fact that the camera fights you like you would not believe here. I have no idea why the camera fights so much here, but it does. There we go. He's frozen / shock again. Get Simon to give me another buff. And we'll have Jaster use Illusion Sword this time. Just speed this along here. And he falls down. Now, I give you more strategy here than I gave myself in my notes, because this was the point in the game where I was getting really bored of the boss fights. And my strategy for the previous fight was forgot strategy, fell asleep. My strategy for this one was same old, use the more advanced version of the sword, because at this point in my test run, I had the final version of this sword already. But yeah, as you might guess, some of the enemies that we're going to be fighting, specifically the quarries, are not too challenging. And once we're done on Jericho, we can make our way to Alistia. And here you're going to want to teleport to the beginning of the Nalvasa Seaway, and just make your way over here. And if you remember, we were talking to some people around here. They're talking about alcohol before, and something frightening. To lure out the planet's top carnivore, infuse its sense of smell with a dose of the powerful drink that seafaring men love. So, the Pirate's Grog. For this fight, I recommend you give as much attack power to Jaster as possible, because this guy will disappear underground, meaning, and he'll do this frequently, which means this fight takes forever. So the best way around that is to buff as much as possible with a strength star, a buffing ability of some sort, and illusion sword is pretty much a must for this fight. As you can see, he's going to just pop up in the same spot over and over again and guard when he goes to do his attacks. But other than that, just attack him as, you know, as much as you can with illusion sword up close. And try not to waste your attacks. And eventually you will probably have to heal somebody. They do get hurt quite a bit in this fight. So let's add our buffs back up again. And throw illusion sword on once again. For this, I have the Spirit Caliber on, which is the strongest weapon that I have. That's not a legendary weapon. That's like up totally. He is weak to fire, so your best bet is to just use Earthshaker. But if you don't have it, or it's not all the way up buff, whatever your strongest weapon is, and try and finish him as quickly as possible. It's not the most challenging fight in the world, but it is there. And when you're done over there, make your way to the endpoint teleporter and just go a little bit south of that near the wrecked ship and you will find another one of those. However, you may have noticed that we have a new costume for Steve there. I put that on and forgot to mention it. Let's go and take a quick look at it here. The energy armor gives him protection against fire as opposed to his previous one, which I've already put in his storage. And that one, I think, protected him against holy. Digo, I put on his new costume as well. This one protects him against lightning. The other one protected him against nothing, I believe. And Simon here, we have, in order to figure out what we're protecting against, we have to take our shield off now. So we have fire, ice, and wind. Now we have fire, ice, and holy. So it swaps wind for holy. Interesting how this is a hand-knit sweater. It seems an odd choice for whatever the hell Simon is. I'm not entirely sure, to be quite honest. Let's give him back his shield. That's the wrong shield. That's the right shield. That's better. And with that being said, are my bugs ready to be fed before we go and take care of business? Now the bugs are fed. To an angel of death guiding souls to the underworld, who set sail on a journey from which none can ever return. Hold to the sky a box that plays a dark tune. They make it pretty obvious what item you're supposed to use the vast majority of the time, which I do appreciate because sometimes they can be really cryptic with these things and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. And you finally see the connection later on. It's like, really? What the hell? What are those little things? Yeah, we get the great big demon, whatever it is, but what are those pink things in the back? Are they controlling this? I'm confused. Anyway, I was talking about wanting a challenge. Well, we found the challenge. This guy is actually pretty powerful. So we're going to set up our standard buffs, and you're going to want to go for Illusion Sword on this one. This guy, when he goes for this charge, even if you guard, as I did in the example there, he's going to kill you. Now, if you're closer to him, you don't take full brunt of the damage, but if you're far away and he goes for that charge, you dead. So in order to not be dead, let's get our buff back up. You can't attack him properly from, see what I mean about less damage there? Now, this attack, the Fire Breath, well, that never happened in my testing. In most of my testing, he makes you fall down regardless. But yeah, he's really powerful. His fire breath will usually knock you down regardless of whether you guard or not. He is weak to fire. He's made out of wood. That kind of makes sense. He can inflict daze pretty easily on you. And overall, he does a lot of damage. So you can attack him from the side or the back. So you really want Jasker to be up front, and you really want to be buffing his damage as much as you can. Strength Star. Now, if I didn't have strengths, or if I didn't have, if I had another character who could buff without Strength Stars, then I would use another character to buff without. But this is the party I happen to have at the moment. So that is what it is. All right, I want to heal. Yeah, let's make sure you're full up. You can be slightly off to the side, but you don't want to be off by very much. Can you seriously stop with the same attack spammed every 2 seconds? That would be appreciated. Like I said, he's weak to fire, so take a look at his HP. It's a small amount. Stop that. I hate how the boss moves you out of range of the actual battlefield and forces you into that situation. Because if you're just spamming the button, you're not going to run away from the fight. But if you're spamming the button and holding down at the same time, you might, and that kind of sucks. But yeah, keep buffing. Jester doesn't need that quite yet. There it is. No, I don't want to change weapons. I would like to activate this. I want to block that. Yeah, like I said, this fight sucks. He likes to spam things. He's extremely annoying. You can get slightly, like I said, from the side, but for the most, why are you running away into nothing? Sit still for 2 seconds, please, video game. Come on. All right, get that back up. Block that. See, I blocked and I still ended up on my ass. Don't ask me why. Block his swipes. That spinning attack will do 300 or 400 damage if you're not paying attention, so watch yourself. Let's heal you. As you can see, this stuff wears off really quickly. Get Illusion Sword up. Now, you want to be using Illusion Sword because you want to be dealing as much damage per strike as you can. Of course, nobody has any stamina left. Let's get protection going here. And you can't do anything. Jumping prevents you from being able to dodge, so I don't recommend that. I wasn't really aiming for doing that. Trying to cancel out of things, make sure we guard, and try not to die. How is your action gauge so low already? You literally just got your turn. Some characters. I think it has something to do with Simon's... See what I mean? I'm trying to fight this guy. He keeps pushing me out of the battle screen for some reason. It's really frustrating. I would rather he didn't do that. I would also rather he stop using the same attack over and over and over again, because it's kind of annoying. All right, well, Strength Star it is. I'm getting tired of this fight. See, that attack does quite a bit of damage. Please die. Yeah, it's a challenging fight, but it's more frustrating, I think, just because of how he forces you off the screen and you spend far too much time not being able to do anything. Simon, do your stuff. There we go. You notice there are those little guys. You can pause it and go check the footage, but those little guys that were controlling that thing, they jump off and very quickly they run away. So yeah, finally got a challenging battle out of that. Not too bad. Not my favorite fight in the game, but it's there. You guys see anything new? Apparently Nina's back at the village. As we've seen with a lot of the other situations where we affect the lives of some of the other people, they don't really say anything interesting after the fact, so I'm not going to go double check every single thing, but if you were familiar or aware of any specific scenes or any dialogue that would make for interesting content to cover, let me know in comments. All right, make your way back to the Great Tablet area. And if you've done everything else that we talked about doing earlier, namely going into the item shop on Vidan, purchasing, where did I put it here? Is it, oh, right, it's, yeah, the Annals of Hades. The Hades Chronicle, a history book written in mysterious ancient lettering. If you purchase this with the Platinum license, then talk to, what is his name? Rodulier? The guy with the blue dot above his head in the item shop. Talk to him, and then make your way back to a very cool looking area that we found ourselves in here in the Great Tablet area. This guy, who earlier on in the game I noted was just an old man, and this has to be a reference. I recognize that book you have there. Hades wrote that book. Might you be looking for the one called Shiza? Now, if you remember what the guy just told us back on Vidan, he said something about the Silvazar Desert, and not Shiza, it's Caesar. So we say no. You are Caesar. We've waited for you for many years. Shall return unto you your unsullied soul, the great blade that I have guarded over the eons. The 7-star sword, Great Caesar. He's an elderly man, not an old man, but here, take this, have this sword. Yeah, it can't not be a Zelda reference at this point. I'm sorry. And we get another of these Silver Star swords. This is why I went out of my way to grab the Annals of Hades early, is because it gets us another sword. And from what I recall, this is one of the few that we can actually level up all the way right now. I don't have the other weapons to do that on me. They're in my stash, but that's fine. We've got this and this and this to work on. We can get Cosmolore up to level 3 by upgrading it with the Alexander and then the Savaluga. We are going to need to buy more of these later. Don't think there are more available yet, but I will check at some point. We don't need this anymore. I can store that for later. But we've got a few more swords to work on with Jaster, so I think the last thing we can do for now is a little bit of combining, and that's what I think about your vultures. They can go bye-bye. You know what? I'm gonna fight a couple of battles. Caesar, Augustus, really, video game? You gotta be kidding me. I love the references. I'm gonna fight a few battles, just so I can get up enough points to level up a few things. Descendant of the Star King, nothing but a fairy tale. Yeah, fight a few battles, and I will see you in a moment. All right, let's combine a few pieces here. We've got the Black Owl and the Lord Hades Prime. And forget that we get the Pleiades. Pleiades. My Greek is terrible. Next, we want the Opinicus EX. It's the best pronunciation you're going to get out of me. And the Mountain Fairy Bow. And for that, we get the Moonlight Bow. Next, we want the Combat Master and the Perfect Hunter. And for that, we get the Tragic Lycian? Lycian? Sure. Next, we want the Advent, whatever those were. We want the, I can't pronounce any of these things if I can't see them. The Advent Storm Hands and the Male Bulge 200X. And for that, we get the Murderous Arms. Next, we want to combine Pandemonium with the Catharsis Boomer. Sure, there's a boomer joke in here somewhere, but too old to get it. And for that bad joke, we get another name that I can't pronounce. The Delta. It is a Delta. That's what we're going to call it. Next, we have the Gaia's Axe. I can pronounce that one. And we have the Grandius. And that gets us the Rasphara Grandius Prime. Now, this might not be the first one, but it's the first one I've noticed. If you look at the required level, level 48, having a prime weapon, one that has one of those characters, in this case, I think that's Sigma? Maybe? Basically, it's usually a Greek character. If it's level 48 and has that symbol, that is the ultimate weapon for this character. Except in the case of Jazzer, who has like 7, 8, 9 ultimate weapons, but we'll get to that. The idea is that once you hit level 48 and have a prime modifier on there, you have hit the top. We've already got the ultimate weapon for Digo. We just have to work on it now. And let's see. We have the Imperial Piercer and the Spirit Chorus. And for that, we get the Heavenly Oratorio Prime. Next, we want the Deep Squid and the Depth Chargers. And for that, we get the Miraculous Duo.
That's what I call a masterpiece.
And I believe that's all the weapons I have for combination for now. So with that being said, we've got a bunch of new weapons. We've got a new lineup here for the Great Caesar. We have all the weapons we need to combine: the Murakumo Type S, the Blizzard Edge, and the Spirit Caliber. So we can actually get this one all the way up to its maximum level. One of the reasons why I wanted to pick it up now, because, well, we can actually work on it now. So these are all mastered, these three. So I just have to work on this, pair it, work on the combination, pair it, work on the combination, and then pair it again. And then we've gotten all the way to the end of that 7-star sword. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that. But anyway, we've got the new gun here for Jaster, so he's working on that. Take a look at what everyone is working on here. We're in our 50s, so we should be able to use pretty much everything. But like I said earlier, we have this ultimate weapon that is insanely powerful. You can go through the entire game with it. You really don't need to do all this extra work. I'm just doing it to show you how to get everything. But yeah, just keep working on swords. There's lots of swords to work on. A lot of these are already mastered, but I still have a lot to work on. Plus, you got to think that this is going to pop up 3 more times, and I'm going to be able to have to work on it 3 more times. And I'm going to have to work on that 1 more time. And where's the other one? I'm using it. And I'm gonna have to work on this one 3 more times, 4 more if you include the one that I'm currently working on. The Pleiades is level 47, so we're not quite there yet. You've got stuff to work on. So let's give you that Miraculous Duo. You've got a new gun to work on, and you have a new sub-weapon to work on. Yeah, Simon's sub-weapon, when he fires it once, it kills all of his stamina. I wish you could prevent him from doing that, because it's almost never a good idea. We're working on this. His ultimate weapon is only pi, so 3.14. Nowhere close to his ultimate here. This is only level 37. You've got lots of weapons to work on at this point. Oh, okay, 2. Yeah, you're already done working on that. That's only level 46. You've got, I think, a new bow to work on. It's got freeze. You've got a new hatchet that we've got in this episode. You've got stuff to work on, except for that. And Nothing new for you. Just the boots that you've been working on. All right. So anyway, that's a general idea of where we are. Do we have stuff that we can do here? I only have one, so we're not going to waste that. I have enough of these, so we can put these into place. Sure, why not? Where's the rest of them? Well, there's one. Looks like that's it for you. Digo, you need that as well. So yeah, we're shit out of luck here. Anyway, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. We got rid of a bunch of stuff. Got a bunch of stuff out of the way. I'm not going to submit those. Yeah, I guess I can go look at them in here. I'm not going to submit the queries yet. We've got 5 that we can submit, but I'm not going to do it quite yet because, well, we're going to actually head into the next area. And in the next area, let's see here, how much higher has this gone up? See, I've already dropped into 5th place. And I don't think I have quite enough to get anywhere yet in terms of the ranking. But we have some more queries that we're going to do in the upcoming dungeon, plus a whole new slew of enemies that we're going to take out. So yeah, we're going to have a lot to submit all at once, and I'm hoping it's going to get us most of the way to Desert Claw. Not all the way, but most of the way. But anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.